Hey, Mark the Guitar Guy here, and today we are going to change the strings on this lovely machinery here called a Martin, and what is it? A DM, which is an absolutely gorgeous guitar. We're going to restore the life back into it by putting some new strings on there. So let's get into it. So the first thing is we need to go through some of the things we're going to need before we start. Okay, we're going to need, obviously, a fresh set of strings that are going to go on there, and that should be no problem. Really, really easy to find some good strings. Any good guitar store will have these, no problem at all. We're also going to need a string winder, just to speed things up, and so you're not just forever winding strings. We're taking every string off, so it's going to take a fair bit of winding, so you want to have a string winder handy. So also we're going to clean the guitar down. Once those strings come off, we'll be able to get right at the frets of the guitar and get right in and clean all the little bits that need cleaning in there. Also give the guitar a bit of a dust down, make it look all nice and pretty. So you're going to need a cleaning cloth and then also an off cloth. Also, kind of handy little tools. These little things don't cost much down at your hardware store. Very handy for getting into little nooks and crannies on the guitars, or even having to cut strings off. And once we've got our strings on, we're going to have to clip the little ends. So we'll need this, something to like a little pair of pliers, which I really find handy. I keep this in a little wee container, just makes things nice and easy. And just while we're on the subject, these little string winders, there's different varieties. I just brought my other one in here just to show you. It's got a groove in it that's used for adjusting strings and stretching strings. What we do is we get it right in there against the string itself, and we use it to stretch a string once we've put a new string on. That's kind of a nice way so that you're not actually hurting your hand too much when we're doing that. So something else to have a wee play with if you like that sort of thing. Okay, so we need to get these strings off, and we need to get them off in a hurry. We're going to grab your string winder, pretty simple. I like to make sure that the guitar is sitting like between my legs like this. It just makes things easier for the winding process. I don't have to stretch anywhere, it's just right in front of me. And what we want to make sure is when we're winding that the string is actually getting looser and not just tightening and tightening, otherwise we'll have a big explosion and the string will break in front of your face, and that's not a cool thing to do. So we're going to wind that string as quick as we can until it's reasonably loose. And then go to the next string, same thing. And you'll hear, if you play it, you'll hear the note drop. It's a good sign that you're going the right way. When it's really slack, move to the next one, play the note, wind that bad boy down. Remembering we don't want to be going that way, we want to be going down. You can hear that note going down. Bad things happen otherwise. And because we're changing all the strings at once, we're just going to loosen them all at once. We're not going to do one, then take it off, one, then take it off. We'll get stuck in and just pull them all off. Okay. So now they're nice and loose and all flapping around like that on the guitar. Okay? So we just want to grab this little tool here that we've just been used for our string winder. It's got this cool little section at the back here, if you can see that. It's a little grooved part. That groove is used for popping in to these pegs. And so it's just an easier way for us to pop these pegs out and lever them out and not have to use our fingers. Okay, so we're just going to lever the little device in there. That'll pull up the pegs, and we can just go through and keep pulling up each peg. Now these are coming out quite easily because sometimes they don't with some guitars. They take a little bit of levering. If that is the case, just go grab another tool, something like a little pair of pliers, and just use the pliers to get in there and pull those pegs out. And that should be fine, but if you can't, that is making sure that you can't get them out with these devices first. So just go through, get each one of those out, and then once you're done, take them out individually. Okay, so we're just going to remove the last of our strings. Just like that, nice and simple. Now we're going to go to the head of the guitar. So we just simply unravel each of these strings. So I'm going to do that slowly, and I'll start with the great big string. Pretty simply, we just go up against the way it's wrapped on and then pull it out. Some of them might be a bit trickier than other ones. You just got to persevere with that. And then these are all going to get thrown away. You're not going to keep them or anything, but just to show you, quite dirty. There's a lot of dirt and stuff just here. Dirty where we pick the guitar, it's quite dirty. Then it becomes clean again because we don't touch that part of the guitar, of the string. And then you start seeing the little frets appear. Hopefully you can see that. little wee frets appearing, which wear into the string after time, and eventually you end up with issues with like your strings actually breaking or fraying at those points where the frets come in contact with the string. Very, very common. And you can see why, especially when you get right to the end here, it gets really quite dirty, why it's a good idea to change the strings. So it makes the strings dull. All this dirt and grime that's on each of these strings, the strings become dull and lifeless, whereas new strings sound nice and crisp, and that's what we want. Okay, so I'm just going to take off all these strings now. Just a wee warning here is these strings are under a bit of tension still, even though they've been unwound and they're out of the body of the guitar, they can still fly anywhere, so do watch your eyes when you're doing this sort of thing. We don't want anyone taking an eye out unnecessarily. So what we're just going to do is unwind each string, and when you're pinging it out of the actual hole, that's the worst part. So, and just make sure your strings are in the same spot. And the beauty about this is once all the strings are off, we can get a good look at the guitar, and we can see what sort of condition the guitar is in, and how clean it is, how dirty it is. And the reason we're going to clean this down as well afterwards, because this is quite dirty, I'll show you in a minute how dirty that is. We don't want the dirt from the guitar to go onto the new strings. It's just a waste of time. So we want to start with a clean slate, get it nice and clean. Why not? And it's going to be nice and crisp for a long time.